Hey guys, and welcome to the next video on cuts and relays. In this video, we're going to deal with the situation where we have a runner at first base, and the batter is able to hit the ball towards right field or right center field on a single, not a double. First, when the catcher realizes that a single is hit towards right field or right center field, he's going to call the play, and he's going to yell, "Cut three! Cut three!" And that's because of the rule that we went over in previous videos. When we have a single to the outfield, the play is 2 bases ahead of the lead runner. In this case, the runner's at first base. 2 bases ahead of that is third base. So the catcher is going to help us organize all 9 people to make a play over at third. Let's look at this chart now. Let's imagine that this ball is fielded towards right center field. It doesn't really matter. The play is the same if the right fielder gets the ball a little bit over here. We need to define who the cut guy is going to be. And unintuitively, that's going to be the shortstop. The cool part about it as the shortstop is you don't really need to move too much most of the time. Your depth between second and third is more or less the same depth that you would play just playing, getting ready for a ball to be hit to you. You need to get on a straight line between where the ball is fielded and third base. And because it's right center field, he's more or less in a straight line already. If that ball is hit a little bit over towards here, that shortstop might need to move up a little bit towards the grass to be on that straight line. The responsibilities of the cut guy are to provide a target for that outfielder. He's going to wave his arms in the air to make himself known that he's the cut guy. And the outfielder is going to throw just over the head, catchable, but a little bit over the head of that shortstop. The shortstop generally will not catch the ball. He will not cut the ball. And it'll make a one hop into the third baseman to apply the tag as that runner on first tries for third base. The only times that you'll catch or cut the baseball is if there is no play at third base. Perhaps the runner stopped at second. Or maybe he's already at third, at which time you'd cut the baseball and try and take advantage of any base running mistakes. Which is kind of leading me into my next point. The other time in which you cut it is if you notice that this runner who's now rounding first base and maybe trying for second, maybe you have a play at second base and can get him out while you don't have a play at third base. So it's to take advantage of base running mistakes. If there's no cut guy and the outfielder just throws to third base, this runner can more or less, once he reads that the ball is going towards third, advance freely towards second base and be in scoring position. So the cut guy's responsibility is to make sure that that runner doesn't advance. Now, let's talk about the other pieces on the field. Once the catcher calls, cut three, the pitcher can really just listen to the catcher and know where to go because his responsibility is always to back up where the play is going to be, whether it's third or home. So he runs over and backs up just a little bit towards the right-hand side third base. The left fielder would be doing nothing useful in the left field, so as soon as he sees that the ball is going to the outfield, he runs over as fast as he can and backs up a little bit of an errant throw to the left side. So we're covered here. So hopefully we hold that runner at third base if it is a bad throw. Second base is going to cover second, and this can be a point of communication error between the second baseman and the shortstop, also known as the middle infield. Because normally, if there's no runners on, that second baseman would go out to shallow outfield and be the cut man for that play. But this is different because we have that runner on. So it's important that that second baseman takes second so that that shortstop can be the cut man in the proper position. So communicate with one another. First base takes first base. That's pretty much the basics of it. So let's watch a few different examples of this play at the major league level. So the batter with a runner at first base hits the ball into right center field, and in this case it's fielded by the center fielder. He gets the ball, and as he throws, we can see the orientation of the middle infield. Shortstop is more or less in the position he was when the ball was hit. He's the cut guy. Second baseman stays in the vicinity of second base in case that runner does try and advance towards second. And as that ball comes in, I want you to notice what that cut guy does. I didn't mention it in the play portion, but just like the other plays, we want to fake like we catch the baseball. Look how he fakes like he catches it. He puts his glove up. He turns towards that runner who's right about at first and rounding first. And he's pretending, look at that right-hand side, he's pretending to throw a fake baseball. So he makes it risky for that runner to advance. From that runner's perspective, he can't really tell if that ball is going to be cut or not. So it really kind of makes him think twice about advancing. That's your responsibility as the cut guy, to keep that runner at first base. Now the ball makes a one hop right there, one hop. The third baseman fields it, and he applies a tag in time. A really, really great play and a great example of the roles of the middle infield with the angles that we had. Let's take a look here.
Whenever there's a base,
You might ask, what if there's a base runner at third base? With a single to the outfield, he can be ignored. They earned it. He's going to score. There's nothing that you can do about it. But we need to focus on that runner at first, 2 bases ahead of the lead runner on a single to the outfield. So he hits it basically in the same spot as the last time, but you get a little bit different view. He throws the ball, and we can see where everybody is. Shortstop is the cut man. And especially at that Little League level, raise your hands. Say ball, 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 ball. Make yourself known. Second baseman at second. Now we get the view of the pitcher here. The pitcher, even at the major league level, is going to be the backup for that throw towards third base. So he makes it over there, and then the ball one hops, and he catches the ball and applies a wonderful tag.
third base.
Now, this is an example of a different style, same play, just a kind of a different outcome based on the circumstance. I filmed this one when we went to a baseball game for Cal State Fullerton, Division I. So let's take a look at this and see kind of how this one unfolds. Here it is. Watch the third. Here's the shortstop being the cutoff. So this one's kind of neat because the runner did not advance. And the reason for that, look at the ball. The ball is about to hit the ground. Ball hits the ground. And it got to that outfielder really quick. Look, it's already in his glove halfway. Keep in mind, that runner had a leadoff at first base, and he could only make it halfway by the time it was in the glove. And once the middle infield, let's direct our attention to the middle infield, second base was thinking, oh, what do we need to do here? Because there is such a thing as doubles cuts or double cuts. So they need to figure out, is he going to get to the ball? Once he realizes that his outfielder is going to get to the ball and it's just going to be a single, they immediately switch roles. The second baseman rolls towards second, and the shortstop abandons his position and goes right here on a line towards third base. And I love how he raises his hand. Ball, 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 ball. And here, the throw is a little bit to the left, but he was on a straight line between him and third base. And because there's absolutely no play at third base, because the runner's clearly not going to go, he cuts the baseball. Outfielder could kind of see that that was the case too, which is why he didn't really kind of throw over the head of the cut guy. So that's a pretty cool instance of the ball being cut. We can see here that pitcher did not do what he probably should have. He probably understood that there was going to be no play at third. Who knows? Maybe he just didn't do what he was supposed to do. You should go over behind third base when that ball is hit. From the pitcher's perspective, you're like, oh, shoot, he hit my best pitch. And you can do something about it. You can help with that play on defense and give the outfielder confidence to make that very, very long throw from right field towards third base. Now, with that knowledge that we now have, let's take a look at a Little League World Series example of this. We have Southern California versus Arizona. Let's take a look.
Wear long pants, only knickers. Ground ball, base hit right field. That finds its way through the infield. Club on its way to third, the throw. Not in, and Club was on the move. Did not hesitate, making the move around second base.
All right. Hopefully you have a few ideas in your head about what I'm going to say about how this was positioned and maybe how we can improve upon it.
It's only
So let's
Nickers.
take a look. So here the second baseman misses the ball with a runner on first, single towards the right fielder. Catcher should right now yell, cut three, and everybody should adjust themselves for that play at third. Once he realizes that that ball's through, the second baseman should really run and sprint back towards second base. And I have something to say about this at the end, which might be controversial or you might have a differing opinion, but I just want to kind of point it out. So right fielder fields the ball, and when he throws, we can see right here that the shortstop went and covered second base instead of being the cut guy. So that does not give us much of an option to prevent that runner at first from advancing towards second if he's able to read the ball as being thrown towards third. I don't know if that happened here, but just because it didn't happen here doesn't mean it couldn't happen if they had really savvy base running. Now the outfielder more or less did the right thing. He knew the play was at third, he threw the ball, but I would say even when there's no cut guy, you probably should aim to make this throw on a one hop. He didn't here, he tried to throw the ball all the way. Not really a super big deal, but when you one hop the ball in, you eliminate the possibility of missing high, of missing over the head of the third baseman, and it takes away one possible way in which you could be wrong. At least if your one hop is off and it's like almost a two hop, like he has a shot at making that play. If you throw it over his head, there's nothing that he can do, and you're only going to miss really left and right. So it kind of takes away that possibility. So let's take a look at the pitcher. The pitcher is nowhere to be seen, and we'll kind of look at that in a little bit, so we can take a look at that aspect. The left fielder did make some attempt to kind of come over there. You can see he's kind of running, but he should really be sprinting as fast as he can to contribute towards this play. There you can see that shortstop, much like in the college video that we just looked at, shortstop's covering second, and right here, just like in the college video, they should reorganize. Now, I want to take a look at some dynamic that you might not have been aware of. Let me go back to right here. Now, this second baseman, this is the part I said which you might not agree with, and that's okay. The second baseman really went over so far to be able to get that ball. In my opinion, that is the first baseman's ball. And this gets into a little bit about the basic positioning. You can see that first baseman is making his first step to cover first base. In Little League level, the first baseman's play way too close to the bag. And I think there's a little bit of a fear about getting to the bag in time to make the play. But you really want to play a little bit out more from the bag. We don't have leadoffs in Little League, so we don't need to worry about picking off the runner. That kind of changes when you get leadoffs, and those are allowed. You need to definitely play closer to the bag. You'd be on the bag, and as soon as the pitch is being delivered, you'd sprint off of the bag to kind of increase your range as a first baseman. So it makes it kind of hard for the second baseman being over so far to get up and cover second base. Because look at the runner right now. The runner is almost at first. It's like going to be a sprint between the two of them to make it there. Now, I want you to look at the pitcher. The pitcher is doing the right thing. He realizes that that ball is hitting that spot where it's probably going to be fielded by that first baseman. And the pitcher is running towards first base because if that ball is fielded by that first baseman there, first baseman can't run over and make that play. He flips it to the pitcher, who then makes the play. That's why the pitcher is responsible for covering the bag. Now, what I think the pitcher could have improved on, right here he holds up, he realizes that there's no play. Look at the left-hand side, the pitcher. He should then run as fast as he can and go, oh shoot, I'm not needed at first. I'm needed behind third base. And hopefully getting there on an errant ball. He wouldn't get there super in time, but he might be able to collect like a deflection off the dugout or something like that. So that's how we can probably improve our positioning for this single towards right field. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned from it.
Base.